Hello everyone, a very good morning to you. This is Rachel live from Kalkine Studios and you're watching The Early Trades, a show where we share with you a glimpse of the Australian share market opening trade scenario, along with the global and domestic drivers triggering market momentum. In our first segment of the show today, we'll take a look at early morning trades, how they panned out after taking cues from the Wall Street action overnight. Next, we'll zoom our lens on the sector movements on the Australian Stock Exchange. And we'll also take a look at prominent newsmakers grabbing headlines during the early trading hours. So let's get started. Now, the Australian share market opened in the green today, with Omni Bridgeway and Pilbara Minerals the top performing stocks so far. The benchmark US indices closed higher on Tuesday, boosted by gains in healthcare and technology stocks. Optimism about strong quarterly earnings of blue chip companies also supported the market. The overall earnings of the S&P 500 index are expected to rise by around 90% in the second quarter. That's compared to 65.4% estimated in July, bringing some cheer to the market. The S&P 500 ended 0.82% higher, whereas the Dow Jones gained 0.8%. The Nasdaq Composite Index rose 0.55%. Healthcare, energy and industrial stocks were the biggest gainers. Communication stocks were among the losing side. In yesterday's session, 10 amongst the 11 major sectors settled in positive terrain. Now, according to data released by the New York Federal Reserve, consumer demand for new debt and credit card use rose to the pre-pandemic figures. Both the total household debt and mortgage debt surged in the June quarter. Another data set released by the US Consensus Bureau on Tuesday showed that the pace of economic recovery is steadily decreasing, although the recovery is also on track. Looking over to the bond market now, the bond yields changed little as traders awaited economic data. The benchmark 10-year yield held at 1.17% at the end of the trading day. The US dollar, on the other hand, steadied amid slowdown in US economic growth. The dollar index rose by 0.037%. Moving on to our next segment now, let us look at some quick highlights of prominent ASX stocks under the spotlight during the early trading hour. GUD Holdings has clocked a revenue of $557 million, an increase of 27.2% over the last year. The company manufactures, distributes and sells consumer and industrial products. It has increased its dividend payout to 32 cents per share as underlying net profit rose to $97.4 million. That's a healthy increase of 31.1% in the same period. Next up, loan mortgage insurance provider Genworth Mortgage Insurance gross written premium has increased by 21.1% to $289.7 million. The statutory net profit after tax was recorded at $59.4 million, an improvement on the $90 million loss posted last year. Let us now take a break, but stay tuned to Kalkine TV.
Property by Kalkine. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest slowdown in the property market, tune in on Kalkine TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with Kalkine.
Hello, welcome back. This is Rachel, your host, live from Kalkine Studios, and you're watching the show The Early Trade, where we share with you a glimpse of the Australian share market opening trade. Real estate investment trust BWP's revenue has declined 2.3% to $152.2 million in financial year 2021, while profit increased by 24.9% to $149.2 million. That's despite leases from a number of smaller tenants where they were affected by lockdowns. It's also declared a final dividend of 9.27 cents per share. Travel management and expense technology company Circo flagged a noticeable plunge in the domestic travel space. Company travel bookings within Australia dropped from 56% of 2019 volumes in June to 35% of 2019 volumes in July. That's due to further tightening of interstate travel restrictions within Australia. Airline company Air New Zealand has lowered its guidance to a maximum loss of $530 million in 2022 in New Zealand dollars, blaming the closure of the quarantine-free Trans-Tasman bubble for 8 weeks for its revised guidance. Previously, the company was expecting a maximum loss of 450 million New Zealand dollars in 2022. Now, moving on to our last segment of the show, the prices for crude oil traded lower due to the concerns over the fast-spreading Delta variant of coronavirus. WTI crude ended 0.98% lower, and Brent crude oil futures closed down 0.66%. Energy stocks such as Woodside Petroleum traded higher, and Santos shares traded lower on Wednesday. Now let's look over to the gold prices. Gold traded lower as traders awaited US jobs data. Spot gold fell 0.2%. US gold futures declined 0.47%. Gold miners, including Newcrest Mining, their shares edged lower. Northern Star Resources traded higher on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the most active iron ore futures on the Dalian Commodity Exchange for September delivery closed 2% higher. That's all from me for now on the early morning trades, but stay tuned to Kalkine TV as we have many more shows lined up for you, sharing live updates across the economy, markets and sectors. I'm Rachel, signing off for now.